To anyone that's played Genshin, it's not a shocker when I say farming artifacts can get really egregious and make you want to just throw your computer or console out the window. And I mean, the premise behind farming artifacts isn't that bad. Use domain over and over to get the best artifacts you can to make your character stronger and stronger. But the problem is the layers upon layers upon layers of RNG you have to go through, and it just makes you feel hopeless after doing the same domain hundreds of times and not getting one good artifact. Because even the best artifacts with the best main stat and substats can turn bad in seconds. So in this video, I'm going to go into a deep dive on what's wrong with artifacts, compare them to another game, and then how I would fix them. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the layers of RNG you have to go through just to get one possibly good artifact. I found out there's a total of 5 layers of RNG you have to go through to get the perfect artifact, and even some of those layers have sub-layers of RNG that you have to go through because you have to do it multiple times. So let's talk about the first layer of RNG, which is the 50-50. If you know anything about Genshin artifact domains, there's actually 2 5-star artifact sets that you can get from. Now you can actually negate this layer of RNG if you choose a domain that you like buffer artifact sets and they're both helpful, but for most domains that's not many. Now if I'm building it.They and I don't want the clam set, I'm going to be praying and hoping that I hit the 50-50 on the domain and not get the clam set. Because it's happened to me many times where I'm trying to get one artifact set, and then all I get is the other one, and now it's just useless, and then the other artifact sets get the good substats and main stats, and I don't have any characters to level them up on, and it just gets crazy. And then on to our next layer of RNG, you have to get the right main stat. There's a lot of main stat options at the artifacts to choose from. Thankfully for the flower and feather artifact, the main stat is always going to be the same, so it actually reduces the RNG on those artifact pieces, which is why people say those are easier to farm. And we have other artifact pieces like the sands, so you can go from attack percentage, defense percentage, HP percentage, energy recharge, elemental mastery. The circlet can get crit rate, crit damage, defense percentage, HP percentage, healing bonus, elemental mastery. And don't even get me started on the goblets. Because when you want to get a good elemental damage bonus goblet, you are going to be farming for a long time. It's always going to be a completely different set. It's actually crazy. Because not only does the goblet have to go through defense percentage, HP percentage, attack, elemental mastery, it can also get every single damage type bonus in the entire game. So that increases the loot pool for a goblet by a crap ton, which is why these are always the hardest to get, because you have to pray and hope you get the right main stat, and then you have to pray and hope you get the right substats on top of that, which is actually our next layer of RNG. The next layer of getting a 5-star artifact is that there can be 3 substats or 4 substats. So in order to get the best artifact you can, you're already at a disadvantage if you only get 3, because now you have to spend 4 of those levels getting a new one, and that new substat could be bad for you, instead of automatically just trying to level up like a crit damage, attack percentage, or crit rate substat. Because you can have very good substats and then that last substat is like flat defense, and then you try to infuse it and then all of it goes into flat defense. So after you get the right set, the right main stat, up to 4 substats, now you have to get the right substats in order for your artifact to be actually good. Because it doesn't matter if you get all those correct. If your substats are HP, defense, then you're going to throw it out. It does not matter. And there's tons of substats you can choose from as well. Attack percentage, flat attack, HP percentage, flat HP, defense percentage, flat defense, elemental mastery, energy recharge, crit rate, and crit damage. There are 10 total substats you can choose from, and you have to get the right combination of those in order to have a good artifact. And then the next layer on top of that, you have to get the right infusions when you level up the artifact. This happens all the time to people when they have a really good artifact, one of the substats is off, but then all the infusions run into that one bad substat and they have to throw the entire artifact away. And there's nothing you can do about it, it's just how it works.
But wait! There's more!
When you get the right infusion, you have to hope it's a high infusion and not a low infusion. What I mean by that is for crit damage, you can get up to 7% crit damage for an infusion. But you can also get all the way down to 5%. So if you get the right set, the right main stat, 4 substats, get the right infusions, now you have to hope that your infusion is a low infusion to make the artifact worse. So with all these layers upon layers of RNG, now you can actually see why it takes months or even up to a year to get a good artifact for one character. This game has been out for a year and people are still trying to grind out artifacts for the base game characters. And the more and more characters and artifact sets that come out, the bigger and bigger this problem is going to be, and Mahari just have not done anything about it. And on top of all this RNG, we're limited each day on how many times you can do this, so now our chances are even lowered dramatically even more. But let's go on to the next session where I'm actually going to compare this RNG to one of my favorite games, Destiny 2. For those who aren't familiar with Destiny 2, guns can actually land with a whole bunch of perks that are randomized on them. They can have something like a barrel perk, a mag or bullet perk, and then 2 random perks that practically make up the weapon. And then there's a last slot, which is the Masterwork slot, which allows you to buff a certain stat of the weapon. Now Destiny does RNG really nicely because when they took it away at Destiny 2's launch, people were begging for RNG to come back into the game, including me. So you know they're doing something right. Now although with all those layers of RNG for a weapon, there's many ways they could actually help negate or put the odds in your favor. First off, there's Umbral engrams, and you can actually focus these Umbral engrams to lower the pool of choices you have from a weapon drop. And you actually get a lot of these Umbral engrams too, so it's really helpful, and it actually feels like you're doing something to help you get the god roll you want. There's also such activities called raids, where you actually do them and you get this currency. And then at the end of the raid, you can actually just straight up buy the weapon you want with the currency. So although you still have to get the RNG of the barrel, the mag, and the 2 unique perks, you actually feel like you're choosing what you want and helping you get your god roll. And then the latest thing they added is just straight up weapon crafting, which I'm not going to talk about because I don't think there's actually a way that could fit that towards Genshin. But as you can see, they have ways to negate or reduce the RNG, make it feel like you're actually doing something to get the thing you want, and making your time worthwhile. Because unlike in Genshin, there's no way to negate the RNG, no way to put the odds in your favor, and after you do it for hours and hours, for days, months, you still feel like you're hopeless and your time has been wasted and wondering what's the point of even farming out these artifacts. Now on to the last section of this video. How would I fix the artifact system? I have a few ideas to make the artifact system less egregious than it is, because once again, I don't think this is entirely bad in-game, but we just need to reduce or put some odds in your favor or get some items that help you out. So first I want guaranteed substat amounts based on the rarity of the artifact. So 5-star artifacts will always have 4 substats, 4 stars will have 3, blues will have 2, and white and green artifacts will have 1. This removes 1 layer of RNG because now you don't have to hope you get only 3 artifact substats and you're already wasting a level trying to get a new one. The next thing I want to change is get rid of high and low rolls. When I found out that there's actually high and low rolls to artifact substat infusions, I really thought it was so stupid how you can get the right artifact infusions, but if you get only low rolls, that's automatically going to be way worse. If you get all the right infusion 5 times in a row, you should be rewarded for it, not punished because you got the lowest roll 4 out of the 5 times. The next thing I want to add is a main stat reroller. Have you ever got a godly artifact with the best substats you've ever seen, but then the main stat is like HP percentage or something? This item will help you change that main stat to possibly something that you actually want. Now this item does not have to be common or anything, it can actually be from in-game content. Or should I say quote unquote in-game content. Some places I would like this to be dropped, and you can say where you want it to be dropped in the comments below. I'd actually want it to be dropped from if you 9-star floors 11 and 12 of Spiral Abyss, maxing out trees like the Sakura tree in future updates, or just a rare drop chance from artifact domains. So if they want to make Spiral Abyss harder, they can add more rewards to it. You can actually feel like you're getting something useful when you're maxing out some trees, and then when you get it to drop in an artifact domain, you're gonna go bonkers. And then lastly, artifact days. So the weekdays would be normal days where you have a 50% chance to get one set, and then 50% chance to get the other. But then on weekends, you'll actually be able to choose which artifact set you want to get from choosing a domain. So on the weekends, if you want to get all emblem, then you'll be able to farm the emblem set. If you want to get all archaic Petra, you can get all archaic Petra, and I think that'd be really useful. So that negates 2 of the 6 layers that I talked about, and 1 of the 6 layers will actually be reduced because now you can actually re-roll it to something that you would like. And that is how I'd fix artifacts and the true problem with artifacts in Genshin. And that's pretty much all I gotta talk about. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Do you guys have any other ideas to fix artifacts? Because that's really all I could think of to not make it too easy. Because once again, I don't think it's a necessarily bad endgame, just the amount of RNG included in it is terrible. So yeah, that's basically all for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you're still here, I actually recorded this video yesterday, but after I recorded it, I realized that my mic was muted the entire time, so I had to re-record it today. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.